Peace, peace, and blessings. Hey, I definitely want to welcome you back for another great episode. You know my name, celebrity interviewer. I said it. You know I represent Chicagoland, the best city in the world. You know we got the best skyscrapers, we got the best downtown Chicago, we got the best people. But you already know on this show we have people from all over the world. So wherever you're watching from, this is what I want you to do. The first thing I need you to do is share this video like immediately. Like so, wherever you are, share this video because what we're going to be speaking about is the awarenesses for the month of May. And so May and every month, if you're not aware, represents different things. You know what I mean? And so this month we're going to be appreciating Mental Health Awareness Month, Military Appreciation, Fitness Awareness, and many other categories. And we're going to speak about that today. Asian American Month as well. So shout out to all my Asian Americans. Much love. And thank you again for everybody just tunes in and supports my programming. This is I Said It Management. You see the logo. Who's wrong side? You see the logo? But yeah, like always, this is the square table where you come get back in your square only at the square table with me and my legendary friend Mimie Acosta out of Atlanta, Georgia. But today she had an emergency. So I apologize. She sends her love. She's not gonna be able to make it today, but it's all good. It's all love because you already know the rules. The show must go on. And with that being said, I have three amazing guests. Two out of Chicago, and one that's outside Chicago, and we'll be speaking with them soon. And first, already know how I work and operate. It's ladies first. And so, with that being said, I'm gonna bring on my first guest, someone you're very familiar with. She was just um, did an awesome job walking down the runway at my last sixth annual Tribute to Women event tour. Thank you so much, Queen. I appreciate you dearly. Let's bring in a good friend of mine, Cindy. How you doing, Queen? Oh, hold on. There we go. Peace. How you doing,
Hi,
Cindy?
I'm well. How are
I'm
you? Thank you for having me. It's a
great.
pleasure to be on.
Oh, always a pleasure to have you network with you and have you part of my platform. And like I said, indeed, you did such a great job walking down. I love how you put the extra F into your step when you was walking down that runway. It's classic. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
Truly
you.
classic. I love how you walk. Yeah, absolutely. But hey, we got to keep the ball rolling. Let me bring in the next guest, another good friend of mine, and she was also participating in our last Tribute to Women event tour, and she was actually the award presenter. And I know you're very familiar with her from other things that you might see her. She'd be on TV. She'd be all over the place. Let me bring in my friend Nikki G. Peace to you, Queen. Welcome to the show. And her screen is black right now, but she's definitely there. Trust me, she's there. But she'll be back. But nevertheless, you know what I mean? We're gonna keep it moving always. And so with that being said, let me bring in the next guest. And this brother has just, been doing an awesome job. I actually just recently met him online. I'm grateful that we was able to connect. And my he's actually has served this country and helped protect us. So anybody like that deserves a salute. So, you know what I mean? As I welcome to the show, welcome to the show, sir, Mr. Leno.
I appreciate that, man. Just Leno's good. I appreciate it, brother. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely, man. Definitely a pleasure. And thank you all for all being here today. You know what I mean? Like I say, Nikki, she'll be back on the screen, just having maybe some technical difficulties. But nevertheless, what we want to do is we want to kind of go around the board and just everybody, if they could, just remind me, the name of your platform, what it is that you do, how people can support you. And we're gonna start with Cindy if we don't mind. So please, Cindy, tell the people who you are, what you do, for you very accomplished.
Oh, thank you very much. My name is Cindy Fullilove, and I'm a teacher at Chatham Academy High School. So I want to give a shout out to Chatham Academy High School. I'm the English teacher and also the lead instructor there. And how you can support is to support my school. We are located at 9035 South Langley, and we have an rolling open enrollment. So if you have any young people who are in need of an education between the ages of 16 and 21, please send them our way. So we have a website. You can just Google chathamacademy.org and find out all the registration information.
Awesome, awesome. Shout out to your school and all the students, and all the people that you have helped and educated. You are definitely needed. You know what I mean? There's so many positions and roles in this country, and you definitely hold a powerful one by being a teacher. Without a teacher, I don't know where I would be.
Thank
Yep.
you. I
So
appreciate it. Those are kind words.
no, thank you for all that you do. So with that being said, let me move on to our next guest. And just, again, please, Nikki, if you could remind people who you are, where you from, and how people can support your platform. If I understand you have some new projects.
Yes. Hi. Hello, everybody. So,
Yeah.
I am an advocate for fibromyalgia. My Instagram is at kickfibro. Fibromyalgia is a chronic pain condition, and it has a plethora and multitude of symptoms that affect the body globally. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 2012. I was bedridden. I did a lot of work to get better control of my illness. So I started my platform in 2017 for fibromyalgia awareness. And also, I have a educational YouTube channel for children. I also have a website, Nikki's Tiny Town. I am a children's author, and I have affirmation cards for children. I've written an affirmation book for children. I've had several different battles with several illnesses. And using affirmations and positivity are some of the tools that I've utilized to be able to bounce back and to get better control of my illness. So those are the things that I like to share, and to say that it is Fibromyalgia Awareness Month. So I am wearing the color purple. I have my purple earrings because purple is the color for fibromyalgia, and the symbol is the butterfly.
Absolutely. And thank you for all that you do and just being an advocate, because it's not easy to be able to, when you're going through it, when you surviving it, this is something that you go through every day. It's a daily battle. I understand, sometimes I call you and sometimes you be in pain. But yet you still continue to step up and just be an advocate for others that, suffer and, can relate to what you're going through. No one knows what you're going through but you and those that can live, have that same lifestyle on conditions. So, just thank you for, just being brave, because that's what it come down to. You're very brave, so thank you
Thank
for that.
you. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And last but never least, let us bring in Mr. Okay, Mr. Leno. So thank you again, sir. If you could, remind people who
Did you
you
put me
are, where
on?
you
I
from, and
just
how people can
popped
also.
on the screen. I'm assuming you hit the button. Is that right, Mike?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yep, you on the
Can y'all
screen.
hear me? I can't hear y'all or see y'all.
Oh yeah. If you want to go back in, come back out. But yeah, we can definitely see you. Yeah, if you want to, you can go back in and come back out and see if that'll fix it. Sometimes with this dog on technology, with everybody StreamYard being so huge, sometimes it has these little difficulties. So yeah, if you want to maybe exit the studio perhaps, and then just come right back in and see if that'll fix the problem. But otherwise, we can definitely see you and hear you clearly. Yeah, so I'm gonna give him a chance to, be able to fix that. So I'll take him off the screen for a second. So with that being said, again, the reason why we here, when we gonna double back to Leno when he comes back in. But again, we're here to represent May Awareness Month. Again, thank you for everyone that is tuned in live right now. Again, shout out to Mimie Acosta, what I mean, the legendary. And she wanted me to shout out Land and Sea Brokers International. So she actually left a comment also already. So what did she say? She says, "One love to my business partner. I said it, got called in to work, but I am watching. God bless Nicole, Kenyo, and Leno, and Cindy. Hopefully one day we will meet. Have a great show." Yep. So absolutely.
Mhm.
So again, thank you, Mimi. I'm sorry. Are you able to see us, Leno?
I got you. I got you guys. I'm sorry. Did I fall off there?
Oh no, you good. Yeah, so basically, again,
Okay.
please, if you could remind people who you are, how they can support your platform, where you represented from.
Absolutely. So yeah, my name is Kenyon Leno. I'm a Green Beret, getting ready to retire from the military after 20 years. So I'm on the last and final days. I also happen to be an IFBB Pro bodybuilder. That's my hobby slash therapist slash coach slash everything. So that kind of serves as the thing that kind of keeps me going. So it really ties into the whole mental health and physical fitness thing. You can support me. I'm on Instagram at King K Leno. And then I'm also representative for Nutristat, which is a supplement company that I've been using for the last 3 years. Absolutely fantastic. My code is Ken10. So if you're looking for something to get back in the gym to kind of help you with your calories, proteins, things like that, that company is fantastic. The owner is a genuine fella, and I've been with him for 3 years. So that's how you guys can support me. I'll kick it back to you guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much again for your service and everything that you've been doing, and congratulations on serving 20 years in the military. That's incredible. You know what I mean? What a journey. So again, thank you for your service, brother. Straight like that. Yeah, very happy to have everyone here today, man. And so what I want to do is I just want to kind of get into the subject matter. And again, just to double back, this is May Awareness Month. And so we're speaking about different topics. And with that being said, I want to touch first on mental health awareness because that's something that I could, you know, that I feel like is the most universal and, most relatable to any and everyone. Because sometimes when you think of mental health awareness, you know, instantly, we be the first ones to be like, well, I don't know what that is. Oh, I can't relate to that because no one wants to feel vulnerable. Like, that's how we are as a society, as people, no one wants to, have that target on their back because it's almost like considered or associated with like a sign of weakness, but you're not weak if you're suffering from mental health. You know what I mean? Um, it's nothing bad, you know what I'm saying? It's life, you know what I mean? Because with the PTSD of just being our skin color, with what I mean, from what we go through in this country, what we are endured with, and our roles sometime on the job, what I mean, society, just life, what I mean. Sometimes we're pushed and sometimes our buttons is pushing. We don't even know that what I mean, this is a trigger for us. What I mean, you have to really like learn yourself, what I mean. And obviously we all grown, and it's no particular age when you become an expert at learning exactly who you are. You know what I'm saying? We all are continue to be a student, like I say, a student of life, what I mean, a student of our body, of our chemistry, what I mean. We still learning about our anatomy, what I mean. And despite respectfully, Leno is, a professional fitness expert and trainer and etc. What I mean? I'm sure it's things that still every day, our bodies can change at any time. What I mean? It's things that you can eat and it doesn't, comply, what I'm saying, with how it did yesterday with your body. It might make your stomach hurt, give you a headache, whatever the case may be. We're constantly growing and evolving. So when it comes to mental health awareness, what I mean, I think that that's something that we have to just stay keen to and just not feeling like, it can't be me and just, accept that, sometimes we all have, that issues to where we can all need help and assistance in different areas, and it's okay to reach out to people when you're feeling like lonely, or you know it's okay to reach out to someone when you just feeling sad. What I mean? It's okay to just reach out to people and just speak your mind and just what I mean. um I don't know. What I mean? That's just how I feel in the moment, what I mean? Because remind everyone, this is non-scripted. I don't read a script when I speak. I speak from my spirit. What I mean? I just kind of go with my heart, and that's just how I roll. But yeah, so when I speak about mental health, that's just the first thing that comes to mind. And, I definitely want to salute everyone that is standing up and, just being strong every day. You know what I mean? Because it's an everyday battle sometimes. But with that being said, let me pass the mic to Cindy. And with that being said, when it comes to being an Asian American in this country, how has that experience been for you? And what would you like to say to, the people?
It's it's been interesting. Um, because of the way I look, I guess, I feel like I can move around however I want amongst anybody. whether someone is black or white or Asian or Hispanic or anything else, I tend to get along with everyone. And I don't know if that's just because of me and my personality, or maybe because of the way I look. I guess some people call it ambiguous, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been able to travel in my lifetime, and just been able to meet a lot of different kinds of people. And it seems that people are just comfortable talking to me and hanging around me. And, part of it, I'm guessing, is not I'm guessing, it's light skin privilege. So we can jump right in. Um, I don't, I don't, how do I say it? Taxi cabs don't fail to stop for me. And sometimes I can talk myself out of a ticket if I need to, or you know what I mean? So it is
No, I
what it
understand.
is. Yeah.
No, I appreciate you expressing the way that only you could, what I mean? Because, I like what you're saying. I appreciate everything that you're saying too. Saying it's deeper than, the surface sometimes. I appreciate that. You
Yeah.
know,
And then,
um, yeah, please.
oh, okay. I just wanted to say one more thing. And then just by being biracial, right? So on my dad's side of the family, that's the African American side. And then on my mom's side, that's the Asian, the Chinese
Mm,
side. And so, I've also gotten some pushback too, like, I don't know, I'm not dark enough, or I'm not Chinese enough. I don't know,
right.
so I've gotten that before too. But I think that
Well,
ultimately, if you're nice to people, they're going to be nice back to you, right? If you treat other people with respect, most people will treat you with respect. So there's some race element to it, but I mean, in my experience, I just try to rise above it and just be respectful to everybody.
right. Well, let me tell you, you definitely are enough. With that being said, I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Absolutely. And then please, Nicole, if you can express, representing, and I want to pronounce it right. Is it fibromyalgia?
Fibromyalgia,
Fibromyalgia.
yes.
Fibromyalgia. Could you speak about what your experience is, and you especially being an advocate for that condition, and how it has affected your body and how it affects others, and does it affect everyone the same, or how's that work?
My journey with fibromyalgia began in 2012. I got my
No.
diagnosis in 2012, but I started to experience symptoms in 2010. And at the time, I didn't know there were like odd symptoms, like my skin was burning and
Mm,
there was nothing there. There was no rash, no injury. So that was the first
mm,
symptom that I experienced. I experienced burning skin. And I remember going to the doctor, trying to explain that my skin is on fire, but there's nothing there. And the doctor saying, okay, well, let's just run some blood tests. We don't see anything. And only thing that the blood test was revealing at the time was that I had anemia, but that didn't explain the skin rash. And then I started to have increasing symptoms of fatigue, and those were the first symptoms that I experienced. And no, it doesn't, there are a plethora of symptoms that come with fibromyalgia. So those were the first two symptoms that I experienced. So then fast forward to, I want to say 2011, like December of 2011, the symptoms started to escalate and I started to
mm,
feel stiff all over. So I started going to a massage therapist. And at that time, she massaged my body and it just hurt so much to the touch. And I remember her saying to me, I think you have a condition called fibromyalgia. I had been
mm,
researching the fatigue and the symptoms that I was starting to experience. And I said, well, I don't think I have that because when I was doing my research, a lot of people with fibromyalgia had severe symptoms. They were bedridden, they had to leave work. And at the time, my symptoms were mild and they were coming and going. So I kind of said to her, well, I don't think I have that. And, I'm just going to keep, on my journey. Fast forward to, I want to say, February of 2012, I went to church, and I remember being in the parking lot, and I remember my body starting to ache all over. I went inside, they do praise and worship, and I couldn't stand up. But that I love to dance, right? But
Right,
I
right.
couldn't even stand up and dance. And I said, well, maybe I'm getting the flu. So I went
Mm,
home. I didn't have any cold symptoms, and I went to bed. And then I just remember waking up just in so much pain. It literally felt like I had been thrown down a flight of stairs. Someone shaved
mm.
the skin off my body and threw salt in it. And
Oh my
and then it
God.
felt like I was beaten with a bat and thrown in front of a train. And I am not exaggerating.
Yeah.
That is literally what my body felt like. So my husband at the time rushed me to the ER. The ER doctor said you have some type of myalgia on in your body and you need to get a workup. So from that point on, it took me 3 months to get a diagnosis, because fibromyalgia is a diagnosis of exclusion. What that means is there are no readily available tests on the market, like a blood test or an objectifiable test that they can give you. So I had to go through a battery of tests to exclude other illnesses. And
Wow.
how does it look? You can have fibromyalgia in a mild way, you can have moderate symptoms, or you can have severe symptoms. So in the beginning, my
Mm,
symptoms were mild. Then I moved into from the mild to it started to climb up to moderate till totally severe. I ended up being on
mm,
FMLA, having to leave my classroom, and just feeling so alone and just not
mm,
knowing what was going on with my body, 'cause especially those 3 months where I had to go through the testing. I finally got my diagnosis through a neurologist, and well, actually a rheumatologist first gave me the she said that she believed that I had fibromyalgia, but I had to go through the testing, and the neurologist gave me my final diagnosis of fibromyalgia. And that's when the work began, because now I have a diagnosis, right? But then where do I go from now? What's the next part? So I learned over the years to lean on a whole body approach, meaning
wow.
using natural holistic medicine to help to reduce my symptoms over time. So it does look different for everybody. There are a plethora of symptoms. There's a sleep disorder, there's stiffness, you feel like you have unrefreshing sleep, there's brain fog where the memory is impaired. So
Mm,
just really over time, getting to know your body and find a working regimen that works for you. So that's what I had to do over time. Find a culmination of different modalities that worked for me. Be it, and it was nutritional,
mm,
physical, in terms of
right.
finding the right exercise therapy. There are a lot of different techniques to utilize. I have a toolbox of techniques, and we can talk more about that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's very intense. I would have never expected, you know what I mean? But you never know what anyone's going through. And I appreciate you sharing your testimony, you know what I mean? It's definitely very powerful. And I definitely sympathize for everything that you're going through. But at the same time, I'm just proud of you, you know what I mean, for just continue to fight, for I see it's an everyday fight. But like you say, definitely we can speak a little bit more about it as the show goes on. If I could, and thank you so much for that, Nikki. I want to go to Leno. He's having some technical issues. It looked like his screen keep going in and out. But actually, I definitely want to go to him next because he's represented Military Appreciation Month and Fitness Awareness Month. And so, when he comes back on, we're gonna ask that he speaks about that. But basically, I want to double back with just Cindy, when hearing about learning more about fibromyalgia, what comes to mind with you, just after what Nicole just said, like that's wow, like that's amazing.
Well, thank you for asking. What really comes to mind is what she said about the holistic approach using
Right.
herbs. I've been working on teaching my students these kinds of things in our morning circle. So every morning we talk about the supreme mathematics, and then we also have like a word of the day and a thing of the day, and so and a yeah, and then just affirmations of the day. So part of the things of the
Yeah.
day be
No, it's the
about
internet's cutting out.
different herbs and different kinds of foods that are good.
It's not mine,
Well,
baby. I'm on this one, but it's an
that's
hour.
something
The internet
uh,
is being stupid,
uh,
of course.
take down inflammation. And so, yeah, there's something in nature, probably maybe even cure for almost every human ailment, right? Like we have sage and
Anyway,
moringa, and, oregano, and just different types of herbs and foods that can help to heal us. That's something that really stuck out with me about what she said, because it's really true. And to be honest with you, if you go to Chinatown, um, I think most cities have a Chinatown, but the one in Chicago, they have
Right.
some stores where they have like jars and jars and jars of all kinds of herbs and things that you can make and put in teas or soups. And it's not really talked about, but they even have like, I don't know, shark fins and seahorses and abalones and just all kinds of stuff in jars that you can get um, to help you with your health or any kind of physical ailment. So you have to
Okay.
already have done your research and know what you're looking for, and then you can find it in Chinatown or in a health food store, or you could order it online.
Okay, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thanks for that insight, and maybe that'll help Nikki even further. I'm sorry, Leno, can you hear us right now?
yeah, I got you, man. I'm sorry. I gotta get rid of
Oh yeah.
my straws that I use for internet connection, man. This is this ain't getting it done.
Okay, no doubt. Definitely want to pass you the mic. We just waiting for you to be able to your internet to work, whatever like that. But with that being said, again, you representing fitness awareness and military appreciation month. Can you speak about your experience and anything it is that you want more people to know just about your world?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think I would just, as far as my world goes, it really opened my eyes to just a lot of different kinds of people. And one thing that I've really learned in terms of people and some of the issues that we face today is that there's just shitty people in this world, man, and they just happen to be shaded differently. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like it ranges, and I
Yeah.
think it's comfortable sometimes for us to put a label on people, but at the end of the day, I've learned that it's just shitty people, man. And so navigating that has been interesting, and I've learned a ton from it. The other thing that I'll kind of piggyback from what you said is from a mental health perspective. I think oftentimes, specifically as men, it's something that we may have been raised to. Since you can't touch it, taste it, see it, smell it, it doesn't exist. All right, it's not a physical ailment. You can't identify it on your body. So it's something that you can just get over or move on from. I'll be straight up front and honest with you. I have been in mental health, getting assistance with that for quite some time. It has transformed my world and helped me a great deal to be able to process things appropriately, and then use the remainder of my brain to do the things that I needed to do and function, rather than having a lot of junk that's happened in the past, kind of stored up in the back there, kind of taking up RAM, I guess, if you want to liken it to some computer terminology. But so I'll just
Right.
piggyback on the back of what you said, and specifically from a military perspective, there's a lot of young men and women out there, that have seen and done things that kind of leave an impression on them, and so getting that help is absolutely critical and paramount for moving forward in any aspect of your life, and that ties into the physical realm for me. Because the mental health piece, if I wasn't able to go to the gym, if I didn't do the things that I do, um, that is a form of therapy for me, right? Something I've identified that is an outlet that I continue to go toward, and I get myself a goal and I work in that direction, and that really assists with my mental health. So I'll stop there before I start on a tangent.
No, no, absolutely. No, I just definitely appreciate that. And when looking at a couple of your videos, I was just impressed on how, despite you are definitely physically fit and how you continue to just push yourself through the pain. You know what I mean? I saw a video where you was still like grueling because you was just actually pushing yourself to a whole nother limit. And it's like, you would, you get the misimpression. Obviously, if you see someone that's really physically fit and strong, you know what I mean? Like, how's that heavy? You know what I'm saying? But you are obviously lifting weight that's even heavier to test yourself. And I love how the fact that you continue to test yourself and test yourself. That's really unbelievable, man. And again, salute to everything that you're doing. And I mean, I can't actually speak anything about military without giving a shout out to my dad, who's 82nd Airborne, you know what I mean? To my grandfather, you know what I mean, who's in the Korean War, to my nephew that just recently graduated from West Point, and he just was promoted to being captain. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, man, so shout out to all of them gentlemen, everyone in the military that's doing their thing and have made the sacrifice, for us as a whole. You know what I mean? Straight like that. Yeah, man. Definitely, so with that being said, Nikki, if I can ask you a question, what I mean, do you have any like thoughts about, when it comes to, military or fitness or, mental health?
Um, Absolutely. I think that I utilize a variety of techniques, and being someone who has experienced chronic pain, it
Right.
affects your mental health as well. You get anxious, you get depressed because
Mm,
you're in a state and you're wondering, why did this happen to me? You're
mm,
feel sometimes alone and hopelessness comes in. So on my journey with fibromyalgia, I'm going to fast forward to 2021. I had an injury to my neck, and I experienced a traumatic brain injury. So during that time, I became bedridden. My head was in so much pain, and there were a plethora of symptoms that came along with that injury. And one of them was depression. And I started to feel anger at the time,
mm,
and a lot of just different emotions. So meditation was something that became one of the tools I learned to use, because
mm.
I was flat on my back. I was bedridden. The pain was so bad I had to wear an ice hat on my head. I had to have
Wow.
assistance going to the bathroom. I had to use a walker. I used a wheelchair for a while. So learning to meditate I was learning to quiet my mind. I learned to get in tune and to talk to on my journey with God. And I learned how to deep breathe. I learned how to do yoga flat on my back. I did bed yoga. I didn't even know that
Mm,
bed yoga existed. But I went on YouTube and I
mm.
looked it up. I said, okay, but I couldn't sit up and do the bed yoga. But that didn't stop me,
Right.
because I did the positions that I could do straight on my back. And these were tools and techniques that helped me along my journey, as well as listening to mindfulness, um, because it hurt to read. It hurt to look at the TV. I can only look at the TV so long. So my earbuds became my best buddies. So my buds were my
Right.
buds. So being able to listen to mindfulness and to go on field trips and kind of take yourself to another place by doing the deep
Mm,
breathing and doing the meditations were very helpful, along my journey, as well as speaking affirmations over myself. That's something that began to do, because my fibromyalgia symptoms exacerbated from the brain injury. It escalated all those symptoms as well. So I began to
mm,
speak affirmations over myself in the bed, and that was helpful on my journey. So these were all tools that I utilized: the breath work, the meditation, the yoga. And during that time, that's how my affirmation cards became born, because I said I was speaking the affirmations over myself, and I'm a former teacher. So I said, why not make affirmation cards for my children? And my daughter
mm,
assisted me right from my bed. My bed became my business workshop. So my daughter and I
right.
collaborated together, and that's how my affirmation cards were born, because I was speaking them over myself, and I was bedridden from that point in 2021, approximately for a period of almost 9 months. I only left the house to go to neuro rehabilitation, to go to speech therapy. So just utilizing those techniques led me on my journey to create the affirmation cards. And then later on, we would go on to create the affirmation book. So I believe in speaking over yourself is key, is paramount. I utilize techniques such as EFT, electric, I'm sorry, my brain just went, but EFT, emotional freedom technique. I wanted to say electric for some reason, maybe because I feel electric from your show. But the technique is called EFT and it's tapping. So you state a problem or whatever's going on, how you're feeling in that moment, and then you tap to reset your nervous system. And just having forums and someone to talk to, because I felt alone, I felt isolated, you know. So just having forums and finding that tribe, someone to talk to, someone to encourage you, and not for us to be ashamed to talk about mental health. We need to normalize it and stop separating the brain from the body, because our brain and our
Right.
body are together. I think the scientific and medical field compartmentalize it to the point where, oh, we got the brain over here and the body over here. No, the brain and body are one. And I think that's
Yeah.
what we need to start. We need to start having speaking more around the subject matter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And before I get into asking Leno a question pretty much about some of the other awarenesses, I definitely want to read what Mimie's been saying. She's been leaving some comments on the start. She says, Leno, thank you for your service and all you do. I lost my brother to suicide due to diabetes and mental health. Thank you for sharing your information. One love. And again, this is Mimie Acosta, my co-host, the legendary Mimie Acosta. She also left another comment. I'm trying to get to it. I don't know why it's not showing me, but nevertheless, right. So she had basically had gave you a shout out as well, Nicole and Cindy, but right now it's not letting me see it for whatever reason. But nevertheless, double back with Leno. You spoke about fitness awareness and military, but and you did speak about mental health, but out of the fibromyalgia, do you know anyone who has fibromyalgia, or and do you or have you worked closely like with a lot of Asian Americans during your time as in the military?
So to the first question, the answer is no. This will be the first time that I've heard of it. Sounds like it is not something that I would want to endure or wish on anyone. So, kudos to you for being strong and getting through that, and well done on taking a negative situation, a potentially negative situation, we'll say, and turning it into the positive things that you did through your book and kind of through the awareness thing, and you just educated me personally here today. So I appreciate that. So that's the answer to that question. I have not. But Asian Americans, lots of them. I've worked with all
Mhm.
put the front on the part of it. You just imagine whatever that is. I've probably worked with them, and it's for me. It's been an enlightening experience, man. It's really good to see and experience different people, different cultures from different parts of the United States as well as different parts of the world, and then just have that kind of come together and in most cases work towards the same goal. In some cases you're not, right? But at the end of the day, you get the opportunity to interact with these people, right? Because that's what it boils down to. At the end of the day, we're all people. There's something to be learned from every situation, good and bad. And so I have thoroughly enjoyed my time in the military and special forces specifically. So I had the pleasure of working with some outstanding humans. But I'm also ready for a chapter two of my life, or the second half of the book, or I don't know, the sequel, whatever you want to call it. But I'm ready for that portion to start as well. But particularly when it comes to again, mental health, like I said, or people with illnesses. My boys, actually, I have two of them, and they have high functioning, or they're on the autism spectrum, so they're high functioning, and so I'm very aware of autism and the different levels of it. And so I'm a very keen supporter of that. Again, and my boys are flourishing. Both of them, you probably wouldn't even know, if you talk to them. I think, again, just being aware of these things and the awareness and understanding it rather than, identify labeling people based on something that they're doing because you're ignorant of the illness, of the situation, of the mental health disease, whatever the case may be. So again, that's my experience, man. And again, from the physical fitness perspective, that just I don't know. I think my military experience has helped me connect on the physical fitness level as well.
Okay, I definitely appreciate that. Absolutely. And I have a quick question for you because I've always, you hear it in the movies and stuff like that, but if you can explain, give us the definition. What is a green beret?
And what
So
special
What is the difference?
forces?
so
What
I
Oh, you
guess
special
good. I know
forces?
that.
yeah, no. So John Wayne, I guess he played the guy in the Green Beret. But basically, you've heard of probably Navy SEALs. Everybody's aware of that, right? So
Right,
that's
right.
the Navy's version of special forces. The Army's version, there's different ones. There's Rangers and there's special forces, which are the Green Berets. So we wear this beret, and we're basically uh, um, highly functional. We go and we teach other nations special forces, so that when we go and do things, it acts as a force multiplier, right? To expand the capability of ourselves through educating others. And so, I guess you can say I've been a teacher with a gun for a while, uh,
Okay.
but so that's basically what special forces is. And so it's usually it's an elite level of the army that I had the privilege to serve in.
Thank you for
Okay,
your
now
service to our country.
No, my pleasure.
yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that because what I want to do and give to my audience, I want to deprive anyone to asking some of the questions or anything like that to people who, when they looked at the flyer and things of that nature, and like, oh, okay, he was Green Beret. You know what I mean? What is that? Or, we hear a lot about it, and glad that today's show, we learned a lot more about fibromyalgia, about learned a little bit about the life of those who are Asian American. We spoke a little bit about mental health awareness, you know what I mean? And I just want to kind of always get an audience the most, you know what I mean, without doing the most, you know what I'm saying? But just, stay ambitious and just continue to network. And, I just really love, just helping, and God uses me to be able to help bring people together because, what I'm saying, I'm grateful for all of you all being open minded enough because it's a two-way street, you know what I mean, to build a relationship, you know what I mean, for you all to be open enough to trust me to, with your time tonight, you know what I mean, to be able to share your testimonies, to share in your life, your story, your world, and, what I mean, just things that, how you function on the everyday. So I really definitely appreciate that. And I kind of want to get into, real quick into getting back to the comments that I was saying that I couldn't read. So Mimie was saying, Cindy, you are beautiful and you are enough. Great personality, queen. Oh, hold on. It'd be nice if I brought it up. All right, there it
Thank you.
goes. Yep, I didn't just make it up. This is what she said. Cindy, you are beautiful enough. Great personality, queen. And then also, what was she saying to, yep, here we go. So she says, prayers up, Nicole. I know someone that has fibromyalgia. Not easy, but yes, you are on it. It hits different when different people. Very informative. Thanks for sharing. God bless. So again, this is my co-host, Mimie Acosta, and she's a legendary film and director. She's been in the industry for 35 years. She was doing soda commercials on TV at the age of 15. She's
Wow.
representing Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm just grateful to have her as part of my support group, part of my team and my network. We've done tons and tons of shows together, and I definitely miss that she's not here today, but she getting her money and she had to work, so it is what it is. So that's what's up. But just kind of like open forum, questions. Anybody that have like any questions for anybody that has spoken today? Yeah, like Cindy D. Oh, hold
I
on.
have a question. I have a question. Is that okay to ask? Is there a
Yes,
cure for
please.
fibromyalgia? Is there something that you can take or to make it go away?
So, as of today, as of right now, there is no cure for fibromyalgia. There are things that you can do. For me, what I have found best is to utilize a holistic approach. I work with integrative medical doctors, and an integrative medical doctor, I didn't even know they existed until I developed fibromyalgia, but an integrative medical doctor is a regular medical doctor who has gone on to have additional training in natural medicine. So what they do is they prescribe a whole body approach to treating fibromyalgia. So we look at nutritional deficiencies, we look at food intolerances, we look at herbs, what herbs and what supplements you can take. We look at implementing techniques such as meditation, yoga, massage, aqua therapy, um, different types of natural methods implemented. Some people may need to take prescriptions. There are like 3 prescriptions. There's the 3 that come to my mind right now are Sabella, there's Cymbalta, and there's Lyrica. So there are prescriptions. So some people may need to take the prescriptions. There is low dose naltrexone, which helps some people with fibromyalgia. So everyone needs to find a regimen that works for themselves. Because fibromyalgia, someone can have it mild, someone can have it moderate, somebody can have it severe. I've experienced it at all those levels. And there's a daily base level of pain. And the best analogy that I can use to describe it is a radio dial. Say your radio dial is set at 4, and that's the pain level. Someone else's, and that's your baseline. Somebody else's baseline may be 3. Somebody else's baseline may be 6. It could be even higher. So you have flare-ups. So one day your pain may be, let's just say it's at a 4, and that's manageable. That's the background noise. But then at any minute, any hour, it can just totally turn up. So imagine the radio being set at 4, you're writing, and then somebody turns it all the way up, and it gets really, really loud. That's going to shock you. You're going to jump. So that's what fibromyalgia is like. Your symptoms fluctuate. The pain can intensify, the fatigue, the stiffness, the brain fog when it's hard to remember things, the sleep disorders. So when you go into a flare up, it's when your symptoms increase. So learning over time what techniques are best for you. For me, it was first of all changing my diet. I went gluten free because gluten does increase inflammation. That's the first thing that my integrative doctor had me do, was to remove gluten from the diet. We did an elimination diet. I found out I had food intolerances. I removed those foods from the diet. I started doing aqua therapy, massage therapy. I started utilizing CBD oil. Medicinal cannabis has a place in lowering the pain volume on fibromyalgia. There's so many ways that you can utilize it. You can have the patches. There are just so many ways, creams, rubs. So just finding the regimen that works for you. And to me, the holistic approach is best to be able to treat it. You need more than one modality. It's not, I can take this one pill and then you need a plethora of approaches. In heat therapy. When I first developed fibromyalgia, the only time I would feel semi-normal was submerged in a hot tub. I wanted to just walk around with a hot tub around my body. And this was in the very beginning. But over time, I got my regimen, and I sleep with a heated blanket, even in the summertime, because heat does help. So just utilizing those techniques, having that heated blanket, that heating pad, just really creating a regimen. And one thing might work for one person, but it may not necessarily help that other person. That's why it's key to create your own regimen. And hopefully over time, as they pour more and more research in to find out what biomarkers are there or things that they can do to develop to cure the illness. Until then, we just have to do the best we can on creating our own regimen, putting everything we need into our own toolbox to help us lower that volume. And it is an invisible illness, because one of the hardest things about this condition and other chronic illnesses and other invisible illnesses, you have the autoimmune diseases, they're invisible. You don't look sick. You're not walking around with a cast on, an injury. You look on the outside well, but in the inside, internally, you're going through hell. And that's one of the hardest things, because people can misjudge you and they don't understand where your daily normal may be for, and you may be able to do some tasks today, but then tomorrow you may be in the bed that entire day. Like I did an interview, um, was that yesterday? The interview yesterday. I got very early to do an interview, but I woke up in a pain flare, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do this interview. But I had my regimen. I was able to lower my volume to get through it. But so just because you can do a task one day doesn't mean you can do that task the next day, because the volume goes up. It's just up and down, up and down.
Wow. Now,
Do
the
you,
way
do you
that
have to
you
get a
just
doctor's
explained it,
note for that?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Do you have to? I'm sorry. Is it okay to ask a question? Do you have to get
I didn't
the
hear you.
doctor's note? A doctor's note, like to give to your boss to explain why you can't do something that you could do the previous day, so that your employer will understand.
So for me, I used the American Disabilities Act. I had ADA accommodations. So I was a teacher at the time that I developed fibromyalgia. So there are a lot of things that I had to, well, the first year I totally went on FMLA. I had to leave my job, but I was able to get accommodations. There's the JAN network, JAN, and whatever illness you may be facing, it has reasonable accommodations. So I applied for reasonable accommodations, and I had intermittent FMLA. That's how I was able to continue working at the time, through the intermittent FMLA, because it was written up that if I had pain flares, then I can be off for those pain flares without penalty. So utilizing the tools of FMLA, utilizing the American Disabilities Act, there were certain, I had to have ergonomical furniture that they purchased for me. At the time, I was having problems with my right hand, so they purchased a left-handed keyboard for me. I had a software typing dictation program. So absolutely having those conversations, because I had a new normal. I couldn't do things the way that I did them previously. So there were many, many different things that I did. On my breaks, I took naps. I had a chair in my classroom that folded out. If you go into, I had a closet. In my closet, I had sprays and just different things to help. You wouldn't even know it. I'd be teaching and I had the TENS unit on underneath my clothing. There were many different things that I did to be able to continue to work. But the two things that were paramount was having the intermittent FMLA, having understanding uh, principle helps as well. But because of the American Disabilities Act, they cannot discriminate against you. And I had all of those things in place, which enabled me to work. I am no longer working as of now after I experienced a traumatic brain injury. I did take an early retirement, but at the time I was able to work from 2012 was my diagnosis up until a couple of years ago. It wasn't easy. It was not. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it was easy, because my coworkers had to learn a new Nikki as well, because my coworkers were used to high-fiving me and hugging and grabbing and a touchy-feely, and then my skin was so sore to the touch that even my clothing hurt. So they would get ready to be, and they have to catch themselves. And but my coworkers were great. They understood, that something was different about me. They saw the changes, and they were very helpful as well. And I did uh, have an aide in the classroom as well, and that helped tremendously.
No,
Thanks.
absolutely. Thank you so much. That's just amazing. What I mean, amazing when it just comes to your strength and how, like you say, any day, things can escalate when it comes to your pain level and just, what you feel. Thank you. Those are some great questions too, Cindy. Thank you for asking that, because I'm
Mhm.
sure it was a lot of people in the audience that wanted to know these things, and she perfectly elaborated on that. Real quick before we end the show, I want to read a couple of more comments from Mimie. When you were talking, Mimie says, please don't make me cry. I'm at work. Great show, great group, great information. Then she also went on to say, this is why I am thankful, grateful for health. This reminds me of how fortunate I am. I can't complain for nothing. Thank you, ladies. Okay, back on the floor, still listening. Um, and just want to piggyback on what Mimie said in reference to just like health. And like Nicole, you said, if I'm not mistaken, you said you was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 2012. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So at any time, our bodies can shift and do a different things, and you never know what challenges and obstacles God and the universe has for us. So that's why it's important for all of us that's watching this show. You know, we all have a dream, right? We all are here for a purpose. You know what I mean? God didn't make us for nothing, He made us for something. And each and every one of us are important. So, you know what I mean? You never know. And despite as example, Nicole's conditions, she has been able to battle and push through and still was able to become an author and things of this nature. But not everybody will be able to do that, you know what I mean, to be able to push through the pain and things of that nature. So that's why it's important, because we never know what God has planned for us. Go hard now. You know what I'm saying? Like, go for your dreams now, pursue your dreams now. Do not wait, because we never know what tomorrow may bring. You know what I mean? Despite, you know, these two women beside me are so beautiful, and they don't look like what they've been through. You know what I mean? No one looks like what they've been through. You know what I
No.
mean? But despite that, you know what I mean?
Thank
We
you.
have to continue to do. Absolutely. We just have to definitely just push ourselves and dig deep, because, you know, there's a lot of people who have, you know, other disabilities that you can be, God forbid, blind tomorrow. We can be paralyzed tomorrow. Anything can happen. Like, whatever God's will is for us tomorrow, you know what I mean? But it's all about taking advantage of today. So if you have a dream to write a book like Nikki, if you have a dream of, you know, teaching like Cindy, or just hitting the runway like Cindy, or anything that you want to do, you should do it like now, pursue it now. Do not wait, because, you know, time waits for no man or woman. So with that being said, I want to end this show by also reading, you know, the short um description that I had on the flyer. So again, Nikki is a songwriter, a poet, an award-winning children's author, and fibromyalgia advocate, and survivor of TBI, which represents traumatic brain injury. Also, um, Leno, who was having internet issues, you know what I mean? He apologized. He's been sending me texts just saying it was he appreciate meeting both of you ladies and everything, but he was having internet difficulties, so you know he had to that's why he's not on the show still right now. But again, he is a US Army Green Beret, IFBB Pro Masters Top X. He is a classic physique team Yumon, a nutritionist, an athlete, and representative, and autism acceptance. And then when it comes to Cindy, she has a master's in teaching and bachelor's in English, a minor in Black World Studies, 2005 Teacher of the Year, a mother of 26-year-old, 22-year-old, and an 18-year-old, a runway model, AUTM 2023 Educator of the Year, and Miss 2025 Women of Purpose Honoree 2024 Fresh Faces Project Lifetime Achievement Award winner. And thank you so much, and congratulations to all that you all have accomplished. It's been such a pleasure to have each and every one of you all here. And you know, I always end this show organically when it comes to hold on, before I get into that, Mimie says, Nicole, you are a resource manual. You are a resource manual. God bless you. Yes, she is, for sure. She
Oh,
is.
thank you.
She is for real, for real. That's no joke. But what I do is on this show, because the foundation of the show was for me to tell my testimony. You know, I started this show in February of 2022 and invited Mimie to be my co-host, and she's been rocking with me ever since. And we do this show every month, the last Thursday of every month, where we speak about awarenesses. We just kind of got into doing the awarenesses of the month this year, but you know, otherwise prior to that, we was just doing other topics, sensitive topics, topics that people sometimes avoid, and we spoke about a little bit of everything. But again, In 2022, I survived a semi truck trailer car accident, you know what I mean? And I was able to walk away literally, like, you know what I mean? And again, we don't know what each and every one of us been through, but this is how this show grew, and this was the foundation of this. So I just created this as a platform because I go live all the time. So I was like, I'm gonna do a show with some of the people that I reached out to during this time of my life that helped coach me and give me advice on how to mentally deal with being hit by a semi truck. You know what I mean? And the things that how it affected me mentally. And so Mimie was one of those people. Shout out to Melanie Hogan, who was on the guest. Shout out to Gina Hills, who was a guest, and shout out to Philip LaRue, aka Phil Cantone, who was the other guest. But we all came round table and we spoke, and then now organically now it became a show. So I took, like Leno was saying, a negative and turned it to a positive, and this is where it all comes from. So now, with that being said, I make sure that I sincerely in each and every show to just remind each guest how much I love them and what I really feel about them. And it's beyond just you being on the show because you match the topic. It's because I feel some type of way about you. You know what I'm saying? So Leno, because he's not here, I'm gonna start with him first. And I was just impressed, you know what I mean? First, not only because, he's Green Beret, which is like elite, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to, special forces, like he remind us like Navy SEALs, you know what I mean? It doesn't get much higher than Green Beret, you know what I'm saying? So I was just impressed by his videos on how, like I say, he was pushing himself, like despite he's physically fit, he was still pushing himself and going through the pain. Like you see tears in his eyes when he's just just trying to push himself to the next level. And I feel like that's what we should all be doing. This is how you see what you made of. And sometimes life will force you to see what you made of. You know what I mean? You don't have to go into a gym to see it. You know what I mean? So and just a nice guy, you know what I mean? And I just appreciate everything he's doing. Also representing his children being autism, having autism or whatever like that. You know what I mean? So I want to just again salute to him and appreciation, much love to that brother and peace to him and his family. May God continue to watch over him and all his family and friends and all his army brothers and sisters and everybody, you know what I mean? And may he be safe, as he travels the world and help protect our country until the day that he retires, or he said is coming soon. With that being said, I'm gonna move on to Cindy real quick. She's the closest to me. You know what I mean? Actually, I'm gonna put myself in the middle. All right, there we go. Oh, where I go? All right, so now I'm in the middle. So now to start with Cindy, but yeah, Cindy, you have just been really unbelievable since the time I met you. Just an unbelievable spirit. You've been just so loyal. You know what I mean? This is the second show now that you have supported of mine, and I'm grateful for that. You know what I mean? You did an awesome job and just speaking about relationships, and you're so open-minded and so professional when you speak, and you have such great questions, and you really challenge my hosts. Shout out to Lily and Giselle who, as we just finished up from her point of view talk show season 4, and you was one of the last guests, and I really appreciate that. And just thank you for your support and everything that you do. How you have stood out there and been teaching all of these years, and the children that you do teach. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes these are the children that sometimes people try to avoid, but you step up and you know have done just an awesome job with these children. And just you're just a great leader, you know what I mean? And like I say, your spirit, your smile, just your aura, just being around you, you know what I mean? It's just really inspiring because it's good to be around cheerful people, you know what I'm saying? Giddy people sometimes, you know what I mean? That's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Don't let anybody try to take that away from you, you know what I mean? And I just love that about you and everything about you. So may God continue to watch over you,
Thank
your
you.
spirit, your family, your friends, and everything that you're doing in your life. And I'm just really so proud of you. And you know what I mean? And to be a teacher of the year, that's like incredible. You know what I'm saying? With all the teachers in the world, to be recognized as teacher of the year, that's something that, you know what I mean, should not ever be underappreciated, you know what I'm saying? So again, salute to you and everything that you're doing. Much love.
Thank
I love you,
you.
girl. Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, and if I may, Nicole, you are someone special. I haven't had the pleasure of knowing you as long as I've known Cindy, but I'll never forget that, I was just going there to support my friend. the legendary Sister Africa, and turn out supporting my friend, the legendary ATOC, as they both was awarded that night at the Queen's um at the award for the presidential what was it? The president, you know what I'm talking about. Help me
The
out.
Queen
What was it?
ceremony, yes, the Queen ceremony, presidential
Yeah,
award ceremony. And the Queen
yes, that
ceremony,
one.
it was two, presidential award and the Queen's ceremony.
Yep. And we was just trying to get our eat on, and I met Nicole in line, and she was either in front of me, behind me, whatever the case may be, and we start talking, and we took a beautiful picture, and just getting to know her briefly, you know what I mean? That was like really awesome, and God helped bring us together and closer, and just having some just great conversations on the phone, you know what I mean? I don't take any conversation for granted, and just learning more about how tough you are with the fibromyalgia, and how you overcame, being having a traumatic brain injury. That's like, you a walking angel, like for real, like you are, like sometimes when they say you don't supposed to be here, but shame on anyone to say you do supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I supposed to survive. You supposed to survive. Cindy's supposed to survive. We all are here for a reason, and you are continued walking testimony every day, because pain is something different. Like the people that go through pain on a daily, man, like don't nobody know what that's like. You know what I mean? Some people dread pain. Some people run to pain, like Leno, you know what I'm saying, who works out and continues to push his body. But you are in a situation where you didn't sign up for this, but you continue to stand up to it. You know what I mean? You don't run from it, you don't cry, you don't complain, you just tough it out. And like I say, you are so beautiful and do not look nothing like what you go through, you know what I'm saying, on a regular basis. And I'm just so proud of you, and may God continue to watch over you and all your family and friends. And you know what I mean? You have an unbelievable spirit, and so nice, and you did an unbelievable job, helping me out, presenting the awards at the last award show. And I look forward for you continue to be a part of it in different ways. So, you know what I mean? Thank you so much for your support, and God bless you. I love you too. And big salute to you too. Straight like
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on your show today. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad that we met, and it was had an amazing time presenting at your award show. It was wonderful, and I look forward to collaborating more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for that. Absolutely. And Cindy as well, of course, I look forward internet.
Uh-oh.
Well, nevertheless, she'll be right back. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, that's how I basically want to end this show. And again, despite Mimi's not here presently, you already know I love you dearly, Mimi. Thank you so much for just continue to rock with me, believe in me, and just continue to show up. We've been rocking for, I don't know, I want to say like 2019. We just been going back and forth doing different shows, going live, and we haven't even met in person yet. And that's just how powerful it is, the connection that you can have with someone online. So, just thank God for, the internet, and especially when it's working right. But yeah, just thank you for my audience. Thank you for everyone that's tuned in right now. I hope that you share this video. If you haven't already, it's not too late. And you can rewind this and learn more about, different things that a lot of people go through in different people's lifestyles. And today was representing May Awareness Month, as we was representing fibromyalgia awareness, military appreciation, fitness awareness, mental health awareness, and Asian Americans. So, much love to everyone. Thank you again, Cindy, for being on the show. Thank you again to Leno. There's Cindy. Okay, she about to pop back in, looks like, in a second. But yeah, thank you again, Cindy, being on the show. And thank you so much, Nicole, aka Nikki, for being on the show. I definitely want to end this too. Hopefully Cindy will be able to get back on. But can you remind people how they can buy your book, purchase your book, Nikki?
Nikki's Tiny Town is my website. That's Nikkis, Tiny Tiny Town TOWN. My YouTube channel is Nikki's Tiny Town, Nikkis, Tiny Tiny Town TOWN. You can also find my book, The Billy Goat Scruff Retold, On Amazon. You can look up Miss Nikki because that's my character on my YouTube channel. I am Miss Nikki. So, and Little Red Riding Hoodie also on Amazon as well. And for fibromyalgia awareness, my Instagram is at kick KICK fibro FIBRO.
I heard that. Let's go.
And there
Let's
you
go.
go.
Congrats. Yeah. And I highly recommend that you all purchase her books. You already know why, because I said it. And Cindy, please remind people how they can support you and your platform and how maybe they if they want to connect. I don't know. It looks like she's a little frozen. Cindy, holla if you hear me. Okay, so she's frozen. But nevertheless, you know what I mean? You can find her Cindy Fulfield. I can't even pronounce her last name. I'm not gonna try it. Disrespect. So, but nevertheless, you know what I mean. Y'all know Cindy. Yeah, everybody that's a friend of mine that's usually be watching. Y'all know Cindy. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Glow Up model Glow Up. Shout out to everyone. And thank you again for everyone that's being here today. We're gonna go ahead and end this show. Get back to it, and hold on. We're gonna give Cindy another try. Look like she's trying to come back in. Yeah, hold on. Looks like she's going to be able to come back in. Cindy, can you hear us? Yeah, the internet has not been kind today. It was not kind to Leno, and now it's not being kind to Cindy. But nevertheless, I'm glad that the mission has been completed, though. We have definitely had another great episode, another great show. Again, this is the Square Table. You come get back to your square, only at the Square Table with me, myself, which is celebrity interviewer. I said it, and the legendary Mimie Acosta out of Atlanta, Georgia. And today we featured three amazing guests, being Nicole, aka Nikki. What was it? Nikki G. Cindy. There she go. Yep, we have featured Cindy. Full, full, uh, fully love. Is that how you pronounce it? Oh dang, she's frozen right now again. And we featured King Leno. So thank you so much for everybody who was able to tune in. I'm very grateful for everyone. And I'll catch you next time. Much love. And again, shout out to my co-host Mimie Acosta. I love you so much. And until the next time, I'll see you all next month, which will be the last Thursday of every month, same time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that would be 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And she says, I love you too and appreciate you too. I appreciate you, Mimie. Thank you so much. Peace to you, Queen. And she says, look at my ladies. Yes, congratulations. Absolutely. So, yep. So that's the show, y'all. Thank you so much. I'll see you all later. Enjoy the rest of your night, Nikki. Keep in touch.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you
You
soon.
too. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye. God bless
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you so much for you. All right. Peace and blessings to everyone. Yep. And like always, I'm going to end it by sharing a couple of flyers. So just to remind you that the last Sunday for the represent the Last Supper Food Chronicles with Mimie and I Said It. You can always find us the last Sunday of the month speaking about food and just different things. And shout out to our sponsors there. You know, soon I'll be returning with this show, which is called the Scar Tissue Talk Show, hosted by myself and past featured guests. That's called Scar Tissue, and that's where we interview people who have, physical scarring. So anybody who like to be on that show who has physical scars, you can just contact me. You can hit me by email, or if you on Facebook, DM me under I Said It Callahan, or you can email me at isaiditmanagement@gmail.com. If you would like an interview, because again, this is what I do, and I'm grateful to say, since 2013, I have conducted over 800 plus interviews. And so if you would like the interview, same way, just hit me up, isaiditmanagement@gmail.com. Or if you know someone who would like to do an interview, just hit me up. It's easy. Also, thank you again for everybody that was on our backdrop representing the month and the year of September 2024 to September 2025. So we'll be doing another backdrop, and this backdrop comes to every event that I do leading up, and I'm working on, you'll see. I don't like to tell everybody what I'm working on, but I got something else, bubbling that'll be coming soon, another event. So, just stay tuned. So again, thank you to all my supporters. Much love to you. And if anybody asks, don't forget, I said it. Management. Peace and blessings. One love.